The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello there, good evening, and welcome to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad that you've tuned in. As always, coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio. Pizza Ranch with 7 locations in the state of Missouri and about to be 8. One in Springfield, where we host the Quarterback Club every Monday, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. There's one in St. Joe, and we'll be there this Thursday for the Quarterback Club there in St. Joe. There's one in North Oak, Missouri, one in Independence, one in Joplin, one in Branson, and one in Wentzville. We've been to every location. And I tell you what, have pizza, will travel. Also presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Central Bank of the Ozarks located across the state, but Central Bank of the Ozarks. Also brought to you by Liuna Labor's Local 663, Building Missouri, and Building Missouri State. And we'll talk more about them as the show goes on. But a big night here in Week 10, high school football. It's Week 1 of districts. Lots of games still going on at this time. We'll run through some of the finals we have. We will let you know that joining us at 9:45 will be Ryan Cornelson. He is the head coach of the Republic Tigers, and they got a win tonight over Parkview. At 10 o'clock, we'll be hearing from Mid-Buchanan head football coach Aaron Fritz. They played last night and defeated Polo to move on. We have reached out to Coach Ryan Nesbitt from Troy Buchanan. They get a 63-0 win over Hazelwood West, and they will host DeSmet next week. And we will reach out throughout the show to other coaches as the finals come in. But if you're sitting next to a coach who just won, give him a nudge. Have him call us, 417-327-6914. That is the studio line right here. And presented by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. They care as much about your money as you do. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. First on with the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Week 10 high school football scoreboard presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, Great Southern Bank, Labor's Union, 663, and the Bank of Billings. And we are live in the Pizza Ranch studio. Thursday night scores. Mid-Buchanan defeats Polo 35-18. And it was Westran over Salisbury 16-14. Central Bank of the Ozarks brings you the Friday night scores in 8-man football, and we have no finals at this time. Let me refresh that. We may have. I haven't refreshed this in a little bit, so my apologies. We do have some finals. We have one final. Stanberry defeats Nottoway Holt 78-34. In Class 1, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, Scott City over Chaffee, 63-7. So they advance, and we'll talk more about next week, Week 11, or the district quarterfinals as we go on. Also, Portageville defeated Haytide via forfeit, so that final was 13-0. Brentwood also was forfeited to by Van Far. Elsewhere in Class 1 was Louisiana over Crystal City, 28-24. Penny defeats West Platte 20-15. Marionville rolls over Miller 56-6. Ash Grove over Diamond 41-0. It was Lincoln defeating Slater 48-8. Monroe City defeats Paris 62-6. South Shelby over Scotland County 48-3. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks sponsors our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week. If you have an Athlete of the Week, go ahead and send us an email at MissouriSportsNetwork@gmail.com. Include the stats, male or female. and include those stats, and we'll be getting back in touch with you. Class 2 scoreboard was Herman over Cuba, 68-0. Hallsville defeats Palmyra, 38-0. Was Lawson over Trenton in a mild upset, 21-14. Warsaw defeats El Dorado Springs, 21-0. In Class 3 was Central Park Hills, 69, Fredericktown, 15. St. Genevieve over Dexter, 56-17. Oak Grove over Northeast, 56-12. St. James defeats Principia, 20-14. Sullivan over Salem, 48-0. Silo Ridge Golf and Country Club, located here in Bolivar, Missouri, they host Misha State Golf tournaments through almost every year. Men and women, boys and girls, fall and spring. Silo Ridge Golf and Country in Bolivar, Missouri. We did get confirmation back from Troy Buchanan, head coach Ryan Nesbitt. He will be joining us at 10:10. Festus over Sykeston, 61-14. It was Union over Afton, 57-15. Afton, my father's alma mater, just celebrated, I believe, their 60th anniversary. Or not anniversary. Oh, well. Union over Afton, 57-15. Nevada over Harrisonville, 42-21. Excelsior Springs, 46. Marshall, nothing. East Kansas City forfeits to Smithville, so Smithville moves on. Bolivar shuts out Hillcrest, 42-0. With 2:38 remaining in the fourth quarter, Rolla leads Glendale, 27-25. In Class 5, brought to you by the Bank of Billings. Bank of Billings, the oldest bank in Christian County, 125 years old. Locations in Billings and Marionville. It was Cape Central over Melville, 62-7. Raytown defeats Truman, 42-6. Fort Zumwalt West over Fort Zumwalt South, 58-0. Fort Zumwalt North over Francis Howell Central, 35-0. Waynesville shuts out Springfield Central, 18-0. So that magical season comes to an end for the Bulldogs. Great Southern Bank brings you Class 6. Great Southern Bank, with more than 100 locations in 6 states, they care as much about your money as you do. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. It was CBC over Vianney, 57-6. Lee Summit North over Lee Summit, 35-13. Troy Buchanan defeats Hazelwood West, 63-0 was the last score that I had at that time, but that was still time remaining. And Lee Summit West and Kickapoo has not gone final yet. Raypeck jumped out early to Joplin. Joplin got back in it, but last report they were down 2 touchdowns with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Saturday games at this time that we know are scheduled. East Prairie will be at Lift for Life. Kelly will be at Priory. Southeast at Hogan Prep. Bishop DeBerg at University City. Central Kansas City at University Academy. Wright City at Normandy. Confluence Prep at Vashon. McClure North at McClure. And Chaminade will be at MICDS. Now, a quick word from our studio sponsor, Pizza Ranch.
Pizza Ranch serves buffet your way.
Don't you mean my way, Mr. Voiceover Guy?
Sure, anyone's way, actually. Request your favorite pizza. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the first slice.
I can add peppers to pepperoni, Stampede on stuffed crust, maybe Texan taco on thin. No tomatoes on my half. How can I convince Mom to let us eat here every night?
It's buffet your way at Pizza Ranch. Say it with me, kid.
Welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll be hearing from Republic Tiger head coach Ryan Cornelson. Had a big win tonight over Parkview, and they move on, and now they will play Webb City, who was idle this week, had a bye. And I apologize, but I've got a little bit of a cough here, and it seems to be going around. But we'll check the Twitter. If you want to send us a note, you can do so via our chat box here. It pops up right on the page. You can send us a chat. You can use Facebook. You can go through YouTube, and you can go through Twitter. Just send us a note if you've got questions or comments. It comes right in here to me at the Pizza Ranch studio. And Pizza Ranch, I tell you what, if you haven't had the fried chicken at Pizza Ranch, it is to die for. I've had many talk about fried chicken in other places, but I don't know that they make any better fried chicken than they do at Pizza Ranch. And the buffet is to die. They got ice cream. Well, I do have another final just came in as Platte County defeats William Chrisman 54-23. And we'll checking that scoreboard as we go along here. But you can send us notes here on the page. You can send them via Twitter at Scoreboard Guy or at Missouri_sports. We are checking scores, and a lot of games are still going on right now. As you look around the area and you look on Twitter and some of the other social media, a lot of stuff has not gone final. Has gone final in Neosho's. Willard defeats Neosho 43-29, and Monette has defeated Rogersville 36-22. Late in the fourth is Colcamp on top of Harrisburg 55-20. And final from Forsyth as Forsyth hangs on to beat Springfield Catholic 22-21. Also final, St. Pius the 10th 39-6 over Grandview. Elsewhere, Carl Junction defeats Grandview, different Grandview, 42-13 in the quarterfinals of district. Now Carl Junction has a big test as they will face Kansas City Center next Friday in the district semifinals. And it has gone final as Gateway STEM has defeated the Windsor Owls 26-20. So that game also just going final. Milan, another game has just went final. Here's Milan has defeated Maysville 22-20. So Milan over Maysville 22-20. Final score from Marshfield. McDonald County hangs on or comes back. Marshfield scored, missed the extra point. McDonald County scores, and they get the extra point, and they win. So congratulations to McDonald County. Louisiana defeats Crystal City 28-24 on a last-second goal line stop. Crystal City drove the ball down field, but could not get in from the 2-yard line with only 11 seconds on the clock and no timeouts. They decide to try and run it in and are unable to get a playoff. It has gone final in Nixa. Nixa defeats Ozark 35-7, a rematch of a game just from a week ago that was 51-7. And Ozark still without their starting quarterback, and saw a lot of things online as DePay puts his son in at quarterback and had a really good game for not playing quarterback. And that a lot of times that's what you get. You get a heartfelt in a rematch, especially in a game like that, the backyard brawl. You get to play them twice in the same season, and they're back-to-back games, and particularly one where Nixa comes out and wins 51-7 a week ago. I think Ozark actually went on top in this game, 7-0. Nixa keeps them out of the end zone the rest of the game. And checking some other scores. We'll refresh this page. Hallsville over Palmyra 38-0. Still waiting on the final here from Glendale Rolla. Rolla jumped out and got ahead pretty 14. They were out 14-0, maybe 21-0. And it that's 27-25 with 2:38 remaining, as we mentioned. So we'll refresh the page here. You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network on MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Has gone final as Liberty North defeats Blue Springs 37-7. And we'll reach out to Coach Andy Learman and see if he would be able to join us as well. Other scores, and we'll go back all the way up to the top from Thursday night scores for those of you just tuning in to the Missouri Sports Network. Here on Friday Night Live, Thursday night games, it was Mid-Buchanan over Polo, 35-18. West Strand defeats Salisbury, 16-14. Friday night games in 8-man football, Stanberry over Nottoway Holt, 78-34. It was Knox County over Northwest, 48-6. Sorry, we're doing a lot of things right here. You look around the area. Knox County over Northwest, 48-6, and I believe I just read that. But and in Class 1 scores, it was Scott City over Chaffee, 63-7. Hayti forfeits to Portageville. Fanfare forfeits to Brentwood. Louisiana over Crystal City, 28-24. It was Penny over West Platte, 20-15. Marionville over Miller, 56-50. 56-6. Ash Grove over Diamond, 41-0. And that looks to be a matchup there that could happen here later on in the finals of this district, Ash Grove and Marionville. That will be a great game if chalk holds and they get there. Lincoln over Slater, 48-8. South Callaway over Tipton, 22-20. Monroe City over Paris, 62-6. South Shelby over Scotland County, 48-3. Class 2 brought to you by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks with 12 locations throughout southwest Missouri. Drive new roads, drive a Chevy. Herman over Cuba, 68-0. Was Hallsville over Palmyra, 38-0. Lawson defeats Trenton, 21-14. Macon over Lathrop, 35-8. Elsewhere, it was Forsyth hanging on to beat Springfield Catholic, 22-21. Warsaw shuts out El Dorado Springs, 21-0. Liuna. Labor's Local 663 brings you Class 3. Park Hills Central over Fredericktown, 69-15. St. Genevieve over Dexter, 56-17. Oak Grove, 56, Northeast 12. Lutheran North over Orchard Farm, 41-0. St. James defeats Principia, 20-14. Sullivan over Salem, 48-0. Now we are now joined by Republic head football coach Ryan Cornelson. Coach Cornelson, hey, thanks for taking your time tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Coach, a big win tonight over Parkview. Tell us a little bit about the contest and how things went down.
Yeah, we I felt like we came out with good energy. Obviously, being your first district game, you want to come out and start fast. And they oversnapped their punter, and we got a safety, and then got a couple quick touchdowns. So I felt like the kids did a good job executing early, and I thought we played hard.
Coach, did you come out of tonight relatively healthy?
I think so. I mean, you never really know till tomorrow morning, but as far as I know, most of our starters were out first quarter, so I know those guys all I feel like were healthy when they came out.
Hey, Coach, and again, we're visiting with Coach Cornelson, head Republic Tiger football coach. And Coach, right now you guys are as hot as you've been all year. What are some things that you're doing really well right now as a team, or maybe even individually?
I feel like we're playing a lot more efficient. We don't panic either side of the ball. We execute at a lot higher rate than what we were early in the year. So just being consistent with what we're doing, whether it's offense or defense, and the game plan. And I feel like it takes all 11 to be consistent, and we've been a lot more consistent down the stretch here.
Now you go into the semifinals. You've got a Webb City team that's had a week off. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to have to do to come out on top next week.
Yeah, obviously with Webb City, that's a big monster there, and they're extremely physical up front. They're as good as anybody that I've seen up front. Both offense and defensive line are really impressive, and so it's going to take everything we got. We played them early in the year, and felt like we missed some opportunities. So hopefully your kids are confident going in there that we can play with them. But it's going to take everything we got, and our kids know that. And we just got to continue to do what we've been doing, not panic, and not try to get out of what we do well. Just stay consistent and push that thing to 4 quarters and see if we can't make a few plays in the end.
And Coach, being you've just kind of new here in this area, what do you, or actually maybe in the state, tell us a little bit about your thoughts on just the postseason bracket and how things are done here in Missouri. Are you a fan of it? Or are you becoming a fan of it?
It is what it is. I don't know that I'd say I'm a fan of it, and probably because of our location. We play our conference schedule and turn around. Those same schools are all in the same district. So, and that's like Branson. They got to play out in a district that's not in our conference. So it's not just everywhere. It's just us by our location. So, and again, it is what it is. You got to beat those teams at some point in the bracket play or whatever, or playoffs or whatever. But it's different than Kansas did it this way when I was first starting coaching, and they switched to a different system. So now I'm used to it. I've been there, done that before, but that makes it tough playing the same schedule. We were fortunate tonight that we got to play Parkview, somebody out of our conference, so we were excited about that. Get to see somebody that we don't see in the regular season, and so that, I guess that's my thoughts about it.
Very good. Well, Coach Cornelson, as always, I greatly appreciate you taking time to be part of Friday Night Live here on the High School Football Scoreboard Show, and hopefully we'll get to visit with you again. And I hope everyone's healthy, and look forward to the game next week.
Hey, I sure appreciate you having me on.
You bet. Thanks, Coach. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. You too.
Coach Ryan Cornelson from Republic, as they get a big win tonight over Parkview. Now they've got Webb City, who's had a week off to maybe lick some of their wounds and maybe heal up just a little bit. And you know what? But I don't think there's anybody right now playing any better than the Republic Tigers are, coming off of that overtime win over Nixa, who did get a big win tonight as well, as they move on with their win over Ozark. And we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that as the show goes on. But you're listening to and watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. You'd like to be part of the show, you can send us a message on our Facebook page. Go to Missouri Sports Network on Facebook. The video and audio is playing right there live right now. We're expecting any moment now we'll hear from Mid-Buchanan head coach Aaron Fritz as they get a 35-18 win last night over Polo. But back to the scoreboard here in Class 2 was, and we'll refresh this here. It was Herman defeating Cuba 68-0. Borgia over California 28-21. Hallsville defeats Palmyra 38-0. It was Lawson over Trenton 21-14. Macon defeats Lathrop 35-8. Mountain Grove over Donovan 63-0. Forsyth over Springfield Catholic 22-21. Warsaw defeats El Dorado Springs 21-0. And in Class 3, brought to you by Liuna, Labor's Local 663, Building Missouri and Building Missouri State. And if you got an opportunity tomorrow, it's homecoming at Missouri State University. They play Western Illinois. Bearfest Village tailgating opens up at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Get out there and run by the Labor's Local 663 Liuna Smoker and grab some brisket, some pulled pork, brats. They do it right, and just asking for a donation. And the donations, they'll be used for a great cause, whether it be Victory Mission, Art Haynes perhaps. But we certainly would encourage you to go by and take advantage of that and stay and watch the game. I know Missouri State's lost 5 in a row after a much anticipated season coming in this year, but good heavens. They need to get it turned around. They're not going to make the playoffs at this point. But we're not talking college football tonight. We're talking food and high school districts. And in Class 3 was Central Park Hills over Fredericktown 69-15. St. Genevieve defeats Dexter 56-17. Roosevelt over Lutheran South 34-21. Oak Grove defeats Northeast 56-12. St. Pius X over Cameron 49-6. Chillicothe defeats Benton 40-26. Lutheran North over Orchard Farm 41-0. St. James defeats Principia 20-14. Sullivan over Salem 48-0. Boonville defeats Fulton 28-25. Cassville over Aurora 24-21. At last report, Buffalo was leading Clinton 26-25. Class 4 brought to you by Silo Ridge Golf and Country Club. Farmington over Perryville 49-0. It was Festus over Sykeston 61-14. Gateway defeats Windsor 26-20. Union over Afton 57-15. And the word I was trying to think of a minute ago was reunion. It was my dad's 60th high school reunion. I said anniversary. That's not right, but I'll get it right. Carl Junction over Grandview 42-13 in a mild upset. I believe that was a 4-5 game. And Carl Junction was the 5 seed. But now they've got, I believe, Kansas City Center. Lincoln College Prep over Warrensburg 35-25. And you'll have to excuse me. Had a little cough there and missed the phone call, but we'll get Coach Fritz on right now. But
Yes, sir.
Coach Aaron Fritz, hey, welcome to the show tonight.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Hey, you bet. And I apologize, I missed your call. I had muted my mic so I could cough, and I didn't hear your call come through. But Coach, we certainly appreciate your time tonight. We got to visit a little bit today with your athlete of the week that had a tremendous week in week 9. And then week 10, you've already gotten the books as you played last night. Tell us a little bit about the 35-18 win over Polo.
Well, I mean, hats off to Polo. They weren't your typical 7 seed. The point system for Misha's. I mean, it's a cool idea and it does some good things, but it rewards too many teams for playing bigger schools, and that the strength of schedule is just kind of off. And hopefully they work on that at some point. But man, they played us physical and tough. We scored on our opening drive, and then Polo kind of hung on the ball forever and would complete a big third down play on us, and we just didn't do a good job of getting off the field at times. And we go into halftime up 14-12, and it's either get after the kids or kind of see if they can figure it out on their own, because we're at that time of year where you don't come out and play, you're going to be done. And we told the kids that this is up to them. Like, our game plan's good, everything we're doing is right. You just have to complete the task at hand. And they came out and played with their hair on fire in the third quarter, man. Played really well, did some good things, and then in the fourth quarter, we were trying to just get out of there, and we gave up a ridiculous play that we shouldn't have, and we let them score a touchdown there late. So it's still a good night for us. I mean, it's all about surviving and advancing and doing things like that. So I was proud of our kids for getting another win. Winning 9 times in the season's tough, and we've been able to accomplish that. So hopefully we can get number 10 next week.
And tell us a little bit, first off, did you come out of last night relatively healthy?
Yeah, I think we're about as healthy as we could be right now. So that's a big positive.
And next week, and do you like the Thursday night setup? And I know we talked a little bit about that today. You get perhaps maybe some more fans, some more eyeballs, because you may be the only game in town, but it's a short week for you. But it creates a long week, the second week.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever coached on a Thursday. As being a head coach, I started coaching a long time ago, so I got to do it back in the old playoff system where your week 10 game was on a Thursday and then you played on a Wednesday the next week. And just with this format, it was a first for me. I didn't mind the short week. I thought it was actually pretty good. I thought we practiced well. And then today we were able to come into school because we didn't have school today anyway, and lift with the kids and stretch. And then we practiced a little bit today too, and just kind of put some stuff in that we had game planned for North Platte that we worked on last night. So, we'll find out more next week, but it does give you a jump start on your next game.
What are you going to have to do next week to come out on top?
Well, we played North Platte earlier, and we scored twice on special teams and did a lot of good things on offense, but we kind of struggled to stop them at times. We also started the game throwing them a pick six and giving them a lot of confidence. So we played not our best and played poor effort sometimes, especially in the first half, unfortunately. And North Platte kept fighting, and we were able to score our second touchdown on special teams in the second half and kind of put the game away and won by 20. But that winning by 20 wasn't how close the game was. So we know that North Platte's going to come out and play hard. They're having a great season, one of their best in probably the last 10, 12 years. And they're going to come out and give us everything. So we've got to come out, match their intensity, play as hard as we can, and make sure we're prepared and doing the little things right.
Well, Coach, I certainly appreciate you being part of the show, and best of luck in week 11 here as you survive and advance.
Guy, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for all your coverage and giving us a shot to talk on your show.
Hey, you bet. Coach Fritz, thank you so much.
Have a great night, brother.
You too. Bye-bye. Coach Aaron Fritz there from Mid-Buchanan. We're going to be joined now by Liberty North head coach Andy Learman.
Hello.
Coach Learman, hey, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, Coach. A big win for you tonight. And I apologize for missing your call there.
That's okay.
But we're a one-man show right now, kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
But you get a big win tonight. Tell us a little bit about the win.
Yeah, so we had Blue Springs tonight, and very good Blue Springs, even though the record probably doesn't look like that. They've gotten a lot better and had a big win last week against Ray Peck, and so we were expecting a ball game, and they gave it to us early. They kind of came out and did a few things differently than what we planned for, which is pretty typical when you play somebody the second time. And so we kind of had a slow start, if you will. They drove down and scored on us on the first drive, and so we kind of had to pull our bootstraps up a little bit and kind of get ready to go again. And then we had a big play by the defense on our second drive out, caused a fumble and scooped and scored. And then on the next drive had a 3-and-out and forced a safety on a punt, a bad snap. And so we got a pretty good quick start there after a little bit of a slow start on the first drive. But after that, our offense kind of got rolling. Again, they showed us a little bit something different defensively than what we planned for. And so it just kind of took a minute, like most times when you see somebody a second time, just trying to adjust. Our kids did a great job of doing that, and we came out with a win.
Coach, and again, we're visiting with Andy Learman, the head coach at Liberty North. And, Coach, going into this week, actually I found out about it at Quarterback Club, but you had only given up 80 points on the season.
Yes, sir.
And talk a little bit about that defense and what makes that side of the ball so special.
It's an incredible group of kids, Guy, and we're super blessed to have a group of kids that are 2- and 3-year starters. We've got the big Mike linebacker that everybody talks about in Melvin Laster, and they should because he's a great player. But we've got a couple safeties that are 2-year starters, 3-year starters that have done a great job, and they kind of direct our defense. But we just have a group of kids that love playing defense, which sometimes I think is a lost art these days. And they love to kind of play together, and they love the challenge of trying to stop an offense and the different things that they do. And they've just played together so long, and they've bought into what we do defensively that they're a pretty well-oiled machine. There's a couple of them that could probably call our defense a little bit at some point in time, but they just do a great job of playing together and playing hard, and they just run to the ball and do all those kind of things. We don't have a super fast kid or anything like that, but we just got a bunch of kids that kind of play together, and we like to say we play like a fist, and they do a great job. So yeah, they've had a great year, and they came out and did another great one tonight and hold them to 7 points.
Yeah, I actually heard about it at the Quarterback Club because it was brought up by the Kickapoo head coach.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
He Coach Thomas was not aware of it, and he said that you dropped him a phone call after he had given up 7 points to Bolivar in Week 9, and I wanted to let him know he had come in second.
Yeah. Coach Thomas and I are pretty good buddies. We coached together here in Liberty, and he was at my wedding, so we're pretty good pals. And I just kind of told him, hey, you just got to start looking at your stats a little better. You got to get some coaches that are paying attention to that stuff for you, because of course I had no idea either until one of my coaches told me. So anyhow, it's kind of fun to kind of razz him and have some fun with it. But
yeah, you bet. And I haven't seen a final yet on his game. At this point, they were kind of neck and neck with good heavens, I can't think who he played.
Lee Summit West.
Lee Summit West, yes.
Yeah.
And the Titans. So I haven't seen a final yet from there. But Coach, talk a little bit about what the challenges are in front of you for next week.
Yeah, so we're going to end up playing Blue Springs South again. So we're going to get both Blue Springs schools again, 1 and 2, and they've got a great team. They throw the ball around the field. They're a big spread team, and they got a quarterback that can do that. And, their head coach is a first-year guy there at Blue Springs South. Has done a tremendous job of getting that culture built up right away and getting those kids bought in. They're drinking the Kool-Aid there at Blue Springs South. And we played a ball game with them a few weeks ago, and we're able to kind of get out early on them and get up, and it kind of got away from them a little bit. But I fully intend on them coming to town ready to go and giving us a heck of a game, and they'll be ready to go because I know they're amped up after their big win tonight. So it'll be a heck of a ball game here at home again next week.
Coach, what's it like, in that area, in those districts? There really aren't any secrets, are there? I mean, you guys see each other all the time.
No, it's almost a war of attrition. I mean, you're just trying to stay healthy to get to this point. And, everybody's kind of banged up, and everybody kind of knows what each other does. And it's just a matter of those small adjustments and just getting your kids to play hard. And it is. I mean, we've got so many teams that just play each other a lot, and we turn around and play each other again in districts, so we're super familiar with each other. And so, like I said, it's just kind of a war of attrition with as far as keeping healthy and doing the things to try to keep your kids ready to go. And then when you see those guys just trying to go out and execute, because you've got a pretty good idea what the other team's going to do. It's just a matter of who comes out and execute and blocks and tackles.
You bet. Well, Coach, as always, we greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here on the Missouri Sports Network. And I will pass along, it has gone final. Lee Summit West defeats Kickapoo 21-10.
Oh, dang it. So. Yeah, tough one for him. So, well, they had a good year, though.
They did. They had a tremendous year. But, Coach, you're in the middle of a historical year, and we wish you the best of luck. And go ahead.
Nope, I just thank you guys for having us on, and it's always good to visit with you, and we'll hopefully do it again next week.
Hey, you bet. Coach Lehrman, thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Coach Andy Lehrman there from Liberty North getting a win. And as I mentioned, just got a note passed that it was finally Summit West over Kickapoo. And now we move on and we welcome to the show now Troy Buchanan, head football coach, Ryan Nesbitt. Coach, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guy.
Coach, you get a big win tonight. I didn't see a final, but the last I heard was 63-0. Did that end up being the final?
We got one more. It ended up 70-0, but it was good win for our kids.
Talk a little bit about what you guys are doing really well right now.
Playing good football in all three phases at the right time. Kind of hitting our stride. So running the football well, throwing it when we need to, and playing quality defense. So like I said, we're getting better each week.
Coach, I know at this time it's 10 weeks into it. There's always going to be bumps and bruises and nicks and scrapes. But are you relatively healthy coming out of this?
Yeah, for the most part, we had a couple season-ending injuries early on in the year, but we've managed to stay relatively healthy since then. So,
and Coach, what do you feel like? And again, we're visiting with Troy Buchanan, head football coach Ryan Nesbitt. Coach, what do you feel like right now? You're doing really well at this time of the year.
For the most part, we've ran the football well all year. We've got a quality unit up front. Our offensive line's blocking well and getting off the ball. We've got a slew of guys that can carry it. Defensively, we're playing really well in the run game and as a defensive unit, playing off the offense. So feel good about those aspects of our game.
Coach, tell us a little bit about what you're going to do to come out on top next week here. I believe you're hosting DeSmet.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it and get to work in the morning.
I just want to congratulate you on your win, and hopefully we get to visit next week.
You bet. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Talk to you. Yep. Bye.
Coach Ryan Nesbitt there from Troy Buchanan, and I think we just went off the air for just a second there. I haven't confirmed that, but I think we're back on. I'm not sure if that entire interview got out. But we're no longer recording. So what we need to do right now, we need to step away and revisit this. So, and I talked to the producers in the green room. Are we live right now? Okay. Well, it says it ended the stream, so I'm hoping that we are still live. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and see if we cannot make sure, because at this point it says we're not live here on my end. So it may be just studio can see us, but I'm not sure that we're live. So we may have to come back in just a second. But we'll play a quick commercial here and see if we can't figure this out. Thanks for tuning in.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a time like this, in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's a lot better now.
It was like a huge weight lifted.
be darned. We are still live. We went and checked Facebook and checked Twitter. So we are still live here at the Missouri Sports Network. Certainly glad that you have tuned in. Greatly appreciate the coaches that have joined us up to this point. You can send us a message. Hey, let us know we're still live. Click right on that Facebook and say we are going good. I believe we are. We're 45 minutes into the show. We're going to update the page real quick. You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network. Friday Night Live, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, Missouri Sports Network on Facebook and Twitter, and at the Scoreboard Guy and ScoreboardGuy.net is where you can find the scores that I'm about to read you. And they're coming in a little quicker tonight. Well, mainly because the state is in control of things tonight. And didn't know, wasn't able to watch any games tonight because Misha charges for those tonight. So I did have a game here at Bolivar, and hopefully we'll be joined by Bolivar head coach Glenn Johnson at some point here in the show. Just reached out to him via text and going to try and get a hold of Tim Hester as well. I believe Stratford got a big win tonight, so we will try and get a hold of him here. But real quick, before we do that, we'll run through some of the scores from tonight, from last night first. We'll start, and we'll go through them before we send out any text. Make sure Stratford did win. Thursday night games: Mid Buchanan over Polo 35-18. It was Westran over Salisbury 16-14. Central Bank brings you the 8-man football scoreboard from tonight. It was Osceola over College Heights. Now that's an upset. Osceola has struggled, but they win 53-44 tonight. And Stanberry over Nottoway Holt 78-34. It was South Holt over Mound City 56-6. Knox County defeats Northwest 48-6. Concordia over Keatsville 66-22. DeKalb over Southwest 50-22. In Class 1 action, it was Charleston over Caruthersville 34-8. Scott City over Chaffee 63-7. Hayti forfeits to Portageville. Van Far forfeits to Brentwood. It was Louisiana over Crystal City 28-24. Penny defeats West Platte 20-15. Marionville over Miller 56-6. Ash Grove defeats Diamond 41-0. Was Kabul over Sarcoxy 28-20. Was Windsor over Wellington Napoleon 28-7. Adrian defeats Crestridge 41-0. Sherwood over Midway 36-6. Was Lincoln defeating Slater 48-8. South Callaway over Tipton 22-20. Excuse me. Fayette over Russellville 48-8. Was Colcamp over Harrisburg 55-28. Paris falls to Monroe City 62-6. South Shelby over Scotland County 48-3. Highland over Mark Twain 32-16. John Burroughs defeats Jefferson 17-14. North Callaway over Father Tolton 38-28. Herman over Cuba 68-0. Was Borgia defeating California 28-21. Hallsville over Palmyra 38-0. Lawson defeats Trenton 21-14. Macon over Lathrop 35-8. Go back to the phone lines here, and we welcome to the show Bolivar Liberator head football coach Glenn Johnson. Coach Johnson, thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Coach, you get a big win, a shutout win tonight. Tell us a little bit about tonight's contest and the win over Hillcrest.
Yeah, our kids got a shutout. It's our first shutout of the season, so that was really nice. Our defense been playing tough all year, and you know how kids are. They love those shutouts and leaving the goose egg up. So we were excited to give them one, and it was good timing to get one first round, and you know obviously getting the host next week, McDonald County. So we're excited. You know, just the effort of our kids is really good tonight.
Hey, Coach, you know, here you are. We're in week 10. Number one, what are some things you feel like you're doing really well right now? I know defensively last week, a Herculean effort in that 12-7 loss to a very good Kickapoo team.
Yeah, you know, we were really tested against Kickapoo, and that's something that, you know, has been a gauge for us in our league. It's tough. We're a Class 4 school, and we play a lot of big Class 5s, and then obviously the Class 6 Kickapoo at the end. So our defense has been playing really well all year. That's where we returned most of our experience this year, was on defense. And then our offense has really evolved over the year, and it's been fun to watch them gain confidence. And you know, we continue to improve a lot. I'd say this week, you know, if you were watching our game, you saw we're moving the football really, really well on the ground, and our O-line has really grown up. We got a good young O-line, and they have grown up for us throughout the year playing the schedule we play. And we're excited to play somebody outside of our conference.
What do you know about McDonald County? I mean, they had a tremendous season last year, a little banged up this year, and lost a lot to graduation, including an outstanding quarterback. What do you know about McDonald County and the Mustangs? And what are you going to have to do to come out on top next week?
Well, I know Coach Kellen Hoover, and he's a great coach, and his kids play hard. Everywhere he's been good, and he's done a great job at Mack County. Just knowing the history there and how competitive they've been. You know, I think they played in their first district title in like 40 years last year, and so they're really big. I've watched them a little bit, just seeing some of their games online, and they're very big, and just seeing, you know, some of the opponents we've played in the past, like the Marshfields and Rogersville, and you know, we definitely, I think, match up well, and that's going to be a war. I mean, they're, from what I could tell and what I've heard, they're really big up front. Just hearing the broadcasts, you know, 295 or so across the board. So they're big. Appears that a lot of their kids play both ways, just watching what we've seen. And we have fought that for a long time, just two platooning and trying to not do that. And in our league, we've really seen the benefit of your linemen not having to do that. And I definitely think that'll be an area that we're going to have to, you know, we're going to have to win up front, and that's going to be a big challenge with how big they are. And, you know, obviously they've had some success this year. They're 6-4, and you know, the big win that they had was against Nevada. That really shocked me. Just playing Nevada last year in that triple overtime game in the district quarterfinal, we know how good Nevada is. Based on what we saw last year. So, and then, you know, seeing Nevada come back and beat Seneca at the end, and I think Nevada's healthy, and they got a big win against Harrisonville. So it's tough not playing each other and getting to have those commons, and, you know, being able to get a good idea. But I know, you know, Coach Hoover's done a really good job making them competitive, and I'm sure it's going to be a war.
Hey, Coach, and again, we're visiting with Coach Glenn Johnson, Bolivar Liberators. Coach, you come out of tonight's contest relatively healthy?
Yeah, we were able to jump on them pretty quick and be able to get a lot of our kids in. That's the awesome thing about, you know, fighting for an upper seed and getting to get some of your younger kids in a playoff game is huge for your program. And we were able to stay healthy, and, you know, we lost Gardner last week, so we were really crossing our fingers we don't lose anybody else, because we are definitely hurting without Gardner. But you know, Gardner's had a great year for us all year, and definitely was missed, but we got some good pieces, you know, to fill in and help in the void. But that was a little bit of night tonight too. Was just seeing what that was going to look like without number 5. He's been such a big part of our team all year. So it was good. Our kids responded well. They stepped up to the challenge, and see a bad situation and it's an opportunity for somebody else.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you, especially on short notice, being part of the show tonight. But the one nice thing about it is I knew you were at home, and I knew when you left because I'm looking right at the football field. So I'm just right here close to you. But congratulations on the win, and good luck next week. And we'll get you back on and just keep winning.
Yes, sir. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thanks, Coach.
See ya.
Glenn Johnson, Bolivar Liberator head football coach, as they get a victory tonight. And thanks to him for joining the show at short notice. And we just reached out. We will hear from Stratford head coach Tim Hesters. They defeat Ava 39-32 in that contest. We'll run through the scores now. We were in Class 2 when we last were on. John Burroughs over Jefferson 17-14. North Callaway defeats Father Tolton 38-28. Was Herman over Cuba 68-0. Borgia defeats California 28-21. Was Hallsville over Palmyra 38-0. Lawson defeats Trenton 21-14. Macon over Lathrop 35-18. Stratford over Ava 39-32. Mountain Grove defeats Donovan 63-0. Hollister over East Newton 37-7. Mount Vernon shuts out Clever 65-0. Forsyth over Springfield Catholic 22-21. Stockton defeats Skyline 47-46. Warsaw over El Dorado Springs 21-0. Fair Grove defeats Versailles 48-14. In Class 3, brought to you by Liuna, Labor's Local 663, Building, Missouri, and Building, Missouri State. Kennett over Potosi 26-19. Park Hills Central over Fredericktown 69-15. St. Genevieve defeats Dexter 56-17. It was Roosevelt over Lutheran 34-21. Herculaneum over Bayless 28-24. Oak Grove over Northeast 56-12. Odessa defeats Summit Christian 70-16. St. Pius X over Cameron 49-6. Chillicothe over Benton 40-26. Lutheran North over Orchard Farm 41-0. St. James defeats Principia 20-14. Sullivan over Salem 48-0. Boonville over Fulton 28-25. Cassville defeats Aurora 24-21. Class 4, Farmington over Perryville 49-0. It was North County over DeSoto 52-12. Festus defeats Sykeston 61-14. Gateway over Windsor 26-20. Union defeats Afton 57-15. Carl Junction over Grandview 42-13. Lincoln Prep defeats Warrensburg 35-25. Nevada over Harrisonville 42-21. Excelsior Springs 46-0 over Marshall. East Kansas City forfeits to Smithville. Winnetonka falls to Van Horn 22-0. Clayton over Jennings 29-8. Fort Zumwalt East 44. St. Charles 14. Warrenton 33. North Point 25. Kirksville over Winfield 59-0. Monette over Logan Rogersville 36-22. Bolivar shuts out Hillcrest 42-0. And McDonald County 7, Marshfield 6. Class 5 brought to you by the Bank of Billings, established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County, with the locations in Billings and Marionville. Poplar Bluff over Fox 30-0. It was Oakville over Webster Groves 42-0. Cape Central defeats Melville 62-7. It was Parkway West 44, Ladue 7. Lafayette over Parkway South 35-14. Belton defeats Smith Cotton 47-21. Raytown over Truman 42-6. Fort Zumwalt West defeats Fort Zumwalt South 58-0. Fort Zumwalt North over Francis House Central 35-0. Timberland over Washington 42-19. It was Helias defeating Liberty 55-13. Columbia Battle over Capital City 34-14. Rolla hangs on and defeats Glendale 27-25. Lebanon shuts out Branson 40-0. Waynesville shuts out Springfield Central 18-0. Republic shuts out Parkview 45-0. Class 6 brought to you by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank, with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank that cares much about your money as you do. Member FDIC. It was CBC over Vianney 57-6. Marquette defeats Northwest 54-0. Do not have a final yet for Seckman and SLU. Try and get Coach Bear on from Seckman if they came out on top. We're still awaiting Coach Hester from Stratford. DeSmet defeats Rittenauer 56-35, and they will travel to Troy Buchanan, who defeated Hazelwood West 70-0. Rockbridge over Hickman 42-0. Nixa defeats Ozark 35-7. And we do have a final from Seckman as they defeat SLU 50-41. Lee Summit North over Lee Summit 35-17, and Lee Summit West over Kickapoo 21-10. Your Saturday schedule: East Prairie is at Live for Life. Kelly is at Priory. Southeast is at Hogan Prep. Bishop DeVerg is at University City. Central KC is at University Academy. Wright City is at Normandy. Confluence Prep is at Vashon. McClure North is at McClure. And Chaminade is at MICDS. And we welcome to the show now Stratford Indians head football coach Tim Hester. Coach Hester, thanks for being part of the show.
Well, thank you for letting us on here.
Coach, you get a big win tonight over Ava. Tell us a little bit about that contest.
I tell you what, it's hard to beat a good team twice, and we knew it was going to be a tough game for us. We go in. Our defense held them in the first quarter and the first 2 drives, and then we put something together, and we go in and we score and end up 7-0, and then we end up getting the ball back again. Our defense stopped them again, and we just drove down the field on some run plays and scored again. But our defense the first half did a great job. We created some turnovers by them. Isaac Berg caught a pitch from them. They did an option, and Isaac Berg, defensive end or outside linebacker, came up and caught the ball and ran it all the way down to the 10. And at halftime, it was 28 it was 28-12, and so it was. We go in and we make some corrections at halftime, and we come back out. We knew that they got the ball first, and they drove and scored. And it was, our kids played well. I mean, it got down to 2 points, and instead of hanging their head down like we did in the past, they came down and we drove down and scored that last touchdown and pretty much sealed the deal for us. But our defense did a great job tonight.
And Coach, you talk about your defense. What are some things right now after 10 weeks of the season you feel like you're doing really well right now, and maybe what are some areas that you're going to have to maybe clean up if you're going to get out of this district?
I think as the whole in our whole defense, we're a much grittier team. We pursued the ball really well. Defensively, I mean, we create turnovers really well, better right now than we have in the past. Our DBs are not letting nobody get behind them. So it's been great that the progression is getting better since week 1 against Mountain View Liberty, and that week we turned the ball over 6 times. So turnovers on offensively is skimming down, and we're getting better at securing the ball a little bit better.
Did you come out of tonight's contest relatively healthy? I mean, I know it's week 10, but
yes, everybody's healthy. I mean, we're fine. We're just got some bumps and bruises because it's Ava. Ava's a tough team. We knew they're going to come back for some revenge from week 2, and we held our own, and we stuck our head in there and pull out a win.
Coach, what are the challenges that you'll face, going into the week 11, the semifinals of districts? What are you going to have to do to come out on top in that game?
Well, at this time, we're playing a lot better, tougher football right now than we have in the past. But it's going to come down to our penalties and cut our penalties down and turnovers. And at this time, we're getting better at that. So I would say it's going to come down to executing each play and making sure our quarterback reads the right routes and our linemen, execute their blocking.
I know early on in the season you had a little bit of trouble going on the road, but you seem to have corrected that.
Yeah, we had a big old giant ape on our back on that. I mean, we've been undefeated at home, but we couldn't get a win away, and there were teams that we should beat, and we did not do that. So I think it was just more of a mental thing than anything else with our kids. But I think after beating Skyline at their place, it kind of took the monkey off our back, and let's go play some football now.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, again, congratulations. 39-32, Stratford Indians over Ava. Congratulations on the district win, and we look forward to watching you or following along next week and hopefully get you back on the air next week.
All right. Thank you very much. You have a good night.
You too. Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Hester, head coach at Stratford, they get a 39-32 victory in Class 2 district quarterfinals, and they will move on to week 11. We did get confirmation. We do have a final first. Seckman did defeat SLU 50-41. Seckman head football coach Nick Bear will join us here at about 10:45. I apologize. That was my phone that went out. That was the beeping on my phone from Coach Hester's leaving us. We're going to take a time out here. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors at the Cottages at Fairhaven, and we'll step away and we'll be back and run through the scoreboard and then visit with Nick Bear, the head football coach at Seckman, after these messages.
Welcome to the Cottages at Fairhaven Cove. This resort spans 12 acres on a quiet cove on Table Rock Lake. You will feel right at home in one of the newly renovated cottages. Options include studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom units. These units have been beautifully redone from floor to ceiling and offer both comfort and style. Each cottage has a fully functional kitchen, deck, or balcony with incredible lake view and outdoor entertainment area complete with a grill. Whether a couple or family, the perfect space awaits you. RV parking at Fairhaven Cove is now available to all guests as well. This is an ideal spot for a weekend getaway or family reunions. 4 full hookup RV parking sites are offered. Each site is complete with a picnic table, grill, Wi-Fi, and digital TV upon request. All guests have access to the numerous amenities that Fairhaven Cove offers. 2 boat docks are available for use. You can take a dip in the lake, fish, or house your boat. Cape Fear, Missouri is not only a great location for boating and water sports, but is also known as the bass capital of the world. The calm waters of the Cove is the perfect place to have your next adventure. The resort offers kayak and paddleboard rentals to guests. Life vests are always included. There is a playground for kids to enjoy and hiking trails to explore. An in-ground pool is sure to make a splash with guests of all ages. And what better way to end the day than around a fire? A large fire pit is available for s'mores, fun, and memories. These amenities and more will be sure to entertain you and your family. The Cottages of Fairhaven is on the quiet side of the lake, near Cape Fear Marina and Flat Creek Restaurant. A short drive will take you to Silver Dollar City, Branson Landing, the show boat Branson Belle, abundant shopping, shows, museums, and some of the best golf in the Midwest. Reach out to your host today to book your next vacation.
Welcome back to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network. MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Hey, you can go to scoreboardguy.net. All the scores should be updated from all the games that have gone on tonight. Shortly, we'll be hearing from Seckman head football coach. Jaguars get a big win tonight, 50-41 over the Junior Billikens at St. Louis University High School. But Coach Bear will join us here in just a couple of minutes. While we have a couple of minutes, I want to mention our sponsors. Labor's Local 663 Liuna. They are building Missouri and building Missouri State along the way. The Pizza Ranch is our studio sponsor. Every day that we're on the air, you can see the Pizza Ranch logo in the background. Pizza Ranch with 7 locations in the state of Missouri. We'll be at the Quarterback Club in Springfield on Monday and then St. Joe, Missouri on Thursday. And right now we are joined by Seckman head football coach Nick Bear. Coach Bear, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Coach, a big win tonight, 50-41. Not a real defensive struggle, but you guys come out on top. Tell us a little bit about the game.
Yeah, we knew we were going to have a hard time limiting their athletes. And they had them all over the field, 5-star wide receiver, and then 3 or 4 guys that aren't far behind him. So, we were hoping we could hold them to about 4 or 5 scores. And we were going to have to get the shootout, but, it turned out to get a shootout, and luckily we got number 15 on our side.
Yeah, referring to
Cole Rubel.
Cole Rubel.
Yeah, if you're not from the Valley, sorry.
No, I'm from the. He was he was the part of the Missouri State Highway Patrol Chevrolets of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week. Just got to visit with him a couple of weeks ago. But Coach, tell us a little bit about the game plan and were there adjustments that you had to make at half?
Offensively, for us, it's always, hey, we're going to do what we do. We're a single wing football team. We're looking for leverage and numbers, and we're going to go where you're not, and we're willing to grind you out. And we really didn't tonight. We wanted long drives, suck the clock. We're scoring too damn fast sometimes. So, and getting their offense back on the field, but that's a good problem to have. And then we just said we knew defensively, we wanted to limit their athletes in space, and they had a good freshman running back. Their senior tailback was out there. Freshman running back came in. He's just as speedy, and he had a couple good runs. And the Wingo kid, he caught a couple balls, a long post route, and we just wanted to limit them and step up when we needed to, and we did at the end with a big interception by Austin Tilley.
Coach, as you look forward to this district, and you guys are having a tremendous season, what are some things that you feel like right now at this point of the season you're doing really well?
We're playing as a team. This group here, a lot of these guys have been playing since they were sophomores, and they just were mentally, one bad thing would happen and everybody was down their throats, and then it would just go from there. And it's something that has reared its ugly head last year with this team, and it was a focus as we went into camp this year, senior year, staying together as a team. We talked about it before the game, when we always talk about it. You're not here for yourself, you're here for the name on the chest. And as cliche as that sounds, they've really bought into it, and we've been in 2 shootouts now, one with Pattonville and another with SLU tonight, and they just stay in it. They keep grinding, they keep working, and that's what I'm so damn proud of.
You've got a challenge in front of you next week. Tell us a little bit about that opponent.
Yeah, we'll have Marquette. They're a good quality program too. I believe they're 9-1. Honestly, I didn't allow myself to kind of look too far ahead. I wanted to make sure that this was not our last game, and we kept all our main focus on SLU this week. So, we'll really dive in on Marquette and what they do well this weekend.
Coach, week 10, you got a lot of bumps and bruises, and but other than that, you come out of tonight's game relatively healthy.
Yeah, we had some nicks and a few guys limping around a little bit, tighten up some ankles. It was a physical game. Josiah Maxwell, our starting safety, went down pretty early with an MCL injury. So, we'll have to see, how serious that is with him and how deep, if it's a tear or a sprain. But hey, he went out and guys stepped up, and that's kind of what our team is about.
Coach, as you look forward to that next week, and I know you can't think about that right now, but it's got to feel just great to get this far. I mean, to get a win in district, that's got to be a goal of every team coming in, to the season, is to get a district win. What does that mean to your town, your community, your school community?
Yeah, when you're 8-1 and the 3 seed in your district, it's kind of, It made us anxious this week because we knew SLU was good. They've probably played 3 teams that might be playing for a state title this year. And, they've played St. Mary's, they've played Ritter, they've played CBC. Oh, and then, by the way, Rockhurst and DeSmet. I mean, you name it, they've played some hard games this year. So we knew that these guys, we probably had the toughest 3 versus 6 in the state. We just knew. For me, I was just anxious all week. If we didn't get it done, what am I going to tell these guys? Because we still had a good season, just got a raw deal. But we got the damn job done, and I didn't have to do that. So,
hey,
no tears tonight.
Hey, you bet, Coach. And as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I know it's an exciting night there, and you're looking forward to next week. But I appreciate you being generous with your time tonight. Yeah,
no doubt. We're heading to the bar now.
All right, very good. Coach, you be careful, be safe out there, and go get another one next week, and we'll talk to you same time next week.
Perfect. Thanks for having us.
Hey, you bet. Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Nick Bear, head coach at Sheckman, and they get a win tonight. Big win, 50-41 over SLU, and that is a tough 3-6 matchup when you go 8-1, and then you draw a SLU, like you said, it had DeSmet, Rockhurst, Cardinal Ritter, St. Mary's, on their schedule to go out and have to play them in week 1 of districts. But Coach Bear and Sheckman, the Jaguars, they get it done and they move on, and now they've got a very good Marquette team next week. We're going to take a quick time out here, and I'm gonna play. I think I'll play the Friday Night Live intro. Maybe I think I was supposed to play that at the beginning of the show, not the end. But I just saw it. But hey, this is what you'll be coming into next week, and we come back. We'll run through the scores one more time and get out of here. Hey, be safe. Hey, welcome back. We'll play a real quick deal here from, don't forget about Thrill on the Hill out at Hillcrest High School coming up here. I think it's going on right now. So we're going to plug that just a little bit, and we'll come back with a Pizza Ranch, and we'll run through the scoreboard and get out of your hair.
Present to you Thrill on the Hill. It's hosted at Hillcrest High School on October 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. This event is for parents and young children to enjoy some safe Halloween activities. Come for some fun games, lots of candy, themed photo booths, and our favorite, the Haunted Forest. We welcome you with a big thumbs up to join us and enjoy this event. We can't wait to see you there.
Hey, that's tomorrow night at Hillcrest High School, 4 to 7 p.m. out on called Thrill on the Hill. And they've got the Haunted Forest. And I went by and saw it, and it's, well, I'll tell you what, it'll roll your socks down if you're not prepared for it. But a lot of fun. Hillcrest does some amazing things out there, and we certainly want to promote that. We'll run through the scores here one more time here on the Missouri Sports Network, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Doak Propane. Doak Propane for all your propane needs. See the folks at Doak in Polk County and surrounding counties. Thursday night games was Mid-Buchanan over Polo, 35 to 18. Westran defeats Salisbury, 16 to 14. And Friday night games in 8-man football was Greenfield over Rich Hill, 78 to 50. Osceola defeats College Heights, 53 to 44, and I believe they will match up next week. We'll run through that here if we have time. Well, yeah, I've got all the time I need. So Stanberry over Holt, Nottoway Holt, 78 to 34. South Holt over Mound City, 56 to 6. Knox County over Northwest, 48 to 6. Concordia over Keatsville, 66 to 22. DeKalb defeats Southwest, 50 to 22. Charleston over Caruthersville, 34 to 8. Scott City defeats Chaffee, 63 to 7. Hayti forfeits to Portageville. Grandview falls to St. Pius X, 36 to 6. Brentwood gets a forfeit from Van Far. Louisiana in a mild upset over Crystal City, 28 to 24. Brookfield defeats Marceline, 30 to 29. Putnam County over South Harrison, 44 to 14. Milan over Maysville, 22 to 20. East Buchanan over Plattsburgh, 68 to nothing. Penny defeats West Platte, 20 to 15. North Platte over Carrollton, 46 to 14. Marionville over Miller, 56 to 6. Thayer defeats Pierce City, 33 to 20. Ash Grove over Diamond, 41 to nothing. Kabul over Sarcoxy, 28 to 20. Windsor over Wellington Napoleon, 28 to 7. Adrian over Crestridge, 41 nothing. Sherwood defeats Midway, 36 to 6. Lincoln over Slater, 48 to 8. South Callaway defeats Tipton, 22-20. Fayette over Russellville, 48 to 8. Colcamp defeats Harrisburg, 55 to 20. It was Monroe City over Paris, 62 to 6. South Shelby defeats Scotland County, 48 to 3. Highland over Mark Twain, 32 to 16. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks brings you Class 2. John Burroughs over Jefferson, 17-14. North Callaway over Father Tolton, 38 to 28. Herman over Cuba, 68 nothing. It was Borgia defeating California, 28-21. Clark County over Montgomery County, 33 to 12. It was Hallsville over Palmyra, 38 nothing. Lawson defeats Trenton, 21 to 14. Richmond over Lexington, 49 nothing. It was Macon over Lathrop, 35 to 8. Stratford defeats Ava, 39-32. Mountain Grove over Donovan, 63 nothing. Houston defeats Willow Springs, 43 to 6. Hollister over East Newton, 37 to 7. Mount Vernon over Clever, 65 nothing. Forsyth defeats Springfield Catholic, 22-21. Stockton over Skyline, 47-46. Warsaw defeats El Dorado Springs 21-0. Fairgrove over Versailles 48-14. Pembroke Hill shuts out Knobnoster 44-0. Class 3, brought to you by Liuna, Labor's Local 663, Building, Missouri, and Building, Missouri State. Kennett over Potosi 26-19. Park Hills Central over Fredericktown 69-15. St. Genevieve defeats Dexter 56-17. Roosevelt over Lutheran South 34-21. Herculaneum over Bayless 28-24. Oak Grove defeats Northeast 56-12. Odessa over Summit Christian 70-16. St. Pius X over Cameron 49-6. Savannah over Lafayette St. Joe 64-20. Chillicothe defeats Benton 40-26. Lutheran North over Orchard Farm 41-0. St. James over Principia 20-14. Sullivan shuts out Salem 48-0. Owensville over Westminster Christian 47-16. Southern Boone over Eldon 38-6. Booneville defeats
presented to you through On the Hill. It's hosted at Hillcrest High School on October 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. This event...
My apologies. I put my hand down and hit that on, so please forgive me. Booneville over Fulton 28-25. Cassville over Aurora 24-21. Clinton defeats Buffalo 37-34. Was Farmington over Perryville 49-0. North County over DeSoto 52-12. Festus over Sykeston 61-14. Gateway defeats, or this class 4. Gateway defeats Windsor 26-20. Rockwood Summit over Pacific 68-14. Union over Afton 57-15. Carl Junction upsets Grandview 42-13. Lincoln Prep over Warrensburg 35-25. Nevada over Harrisonville 42-21. Excelsior Springs defeats Marshall 46-0. East Kansas City forfeits to Smithville. Van Horn over Winnetaka 22-0. Clayton upsets Jennings 29-8. Parkway North over Soldan 59-14. Fort Zumwalt East over St. Charles 44-14. Warrenton over North Point 33-25. Kirksville shuts out Winfield 59-0. Monette over Logan Rogersville 36-22. Bolivar shuts out Hillcrest 42-0. And McDonald County over Marshfield 7-6. Class 5. Poplar Bluff over Fox 30-0. Oakville over Webster Groves 42-0. Cape Central 62-7 over Melville. Parkway West 44, Ladue 7. Lafayette over Parkway South 35-14. Belton defeats Smith Cotton 47-21. Raytown over Truman 42-6. Raytown South over Ruskin 32-13. North Kansas City in overtime defeats Central St. Joe 34-28. Platte County over William Chrisman 54-23. Francis Howell North defeats Riverview Gardens 58-12. Fort Zumwalt West over Fort Zumwalt South 58-0. Fort Zumwalt North over Francis Howell Central 35-0. Timberland defeats Washington 42-19. Helias over Liberty 55-13. Battle upsets Capital City 34-14. Rolla upsets Glendale 27-25. Lebanon shuts out Branson 40-0. Waynesville upsets Central 18-0. Willard upsets Neosho 43-29. Republic defeats Parkview 52-8. Class 6. CBC over Vianney 57-6. Kirkwood defeats Lindbergh 52-10. Marquette over Northwest 54-0. Seckman defeats SLU 50-41. Liberty North over Blue Springs 37-7. Blue Springs South 42, Liberty 14. Park Hill South upsets Staley 50-40. Park Hill upsets Rockhurst 49-42. Troy Buchanan shuts out Hazelwood West 70-0. DeSmet over Rittenhour 56-35. Was Rockbridge shutting out Hickman 42-0. Hazelwood Central over Pattonville 20-15. Nixa defeats Ozark 35-7. Ray-Pec upsets Joplin 56-42. Lee Summit North defeats Lee Summit 35-17. Lee Summit West upsets Kickapoo 21-10. Your Saturday schedule: East Prairie is at Live for Life. Kelly is at Priory. Southeast is at Hogan Prep. Bishop DeBerg is at University City. Central Kansas City is at University Academy. Wright City is at Normandy. Confluence Prep is at Vashon. McClure North is at McClure. And Chaminade is at MICDS. And now a word from Chevrolet.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, we went a little bit long tonight, but no worries. I'll just pay the extra 90 seconds that it cost me in electricity. But no, hey, certainly glad everybody tuned in tonight. Had a ball tonight. Thanks to all the coaches that were part of the show. Couldn't have done it without them. And hopefully that'll be the norm as we go forward. But Troy Buchanan's head coach, Ryan Nesbitt, part of the show. Republic's head coach, Ryan Cornelson, part of the show. Mid Buchanan, head coach Aaron Fritz. Seckman, head coach Nick Bear. Liberty North head coach Andy Lehrman. Stratford head coach Tim Hester. And Bolivar head coach Glenn Johnson, all part of the show tonight. So you could draw a big circle around the state, and we got it covered. So stay tuned. We'll continue to put scores out for tomorrow's games, and we'll be covering a little bit of the college stuff going on as well. And then Thursday, episode of Huddle Up. I know we've missed a couple of weeks here, but there's been some extenuating circumstances for that, but one way or another, we'll get that to you as well on Huddle Up. But and as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. And as always, keep it right here at the Missouri Sports Network.